Welcome, everybody. This is the Futro Hidden Movie Gem podcast. Cue the music! I think Jordan is supposed to put the music. This is all your fault, Jordan, if it's not playing the intro music. I thought like 10 seconds of the trailer audio. We still need to figure out if we'd be under lawsuit if that was an issue. Another item of business. We just want to say hi to our fans. I'm Ty, and I'm joined here with the movie Futro Hidden Movie Gems podcast crew. We have Jordan. Say hello, Jordan.
Oh, hello.
We have Cameron.
Sup, nerds?
It's nerds. I like it. Okay. So, what was it like watching this movie the first time, and what was it like revisiting it for this podcast? Let's start with Cameron.
What was it like? I've only seen it once. I just watched it, I think, 2 weeks ago with Jordan and Grant. But whoa, what was it like watching it? Ooh, I don't know. It was an interesting experience, let's just say that. I was like, the entire time, it was a very suspenseful and like, what is going on film. It's definitely very borderline, a lot of the things. But, I mean, my overall experience, like, I really was, like, on the edge of my seat. And I was like, yo, what is happening? Really, like, confused. But I enjoyed it.
So, have you only seen it once then?
Yeah, I've only seen it once.
Okay, well, you've been disqualified from the podcast. Jordan, what was it like watching it the first time you watched it? And what was it like watching it for the 12th time? I know you've seen this movie a lot. Let's hear it.
Okay, not the 12th time, but I did watch it 4 times. And the 4th time was just as good as the first. I love this film so much.
Is that why it's the second movie we're reviewing for this podcast?
Well, yes. We'll probably have to start voting on who gets to decide what we want to watch. I know I've kind of been delegating, more like commanding what we do, so, or what we're going to talk about. I just wanted to say that this film is amazing. It's going to be, I can guarantee it's going to be a cult classic. It reminds me, and I love that Ty asked me this. He's like, do you like it because it's like The Cube? And I'm like, yes, that's exactly why I love this film. I love this film
We're
because...
not going to talk about The Cube. We're not going to talk about Hypercube on this podcast. We're not going to talk about Cube Squared.
I think we will do The Cube at some point. At least The Cube 2 Hypercube. I love Cube 2. I just wanted to say that this film is amazing. Every single time, it's just as suspenseful the 4th time as it was the first. I love it so much. I love the acting, the suspense, the survival of the fittest. This is my type of film. I hold this film in high regards. It is, I gave it 10 out of 10. I put it at the top of my list of movies I like to watch with people because I love their reactions and, you know, the gasps, and it's a good film.
That's good. Yeah, I remember, so I watched it the first time after Jordan recommended it. I don't know what viewing you were on, Jordan, when you told me to watch this movie, but you told me to watch this movie. It was like I can't even remember what you just told me about it. You're like, stop whatever it is that you're doing right now and watch this movie. And then I remember thinking, like, what's this thing? But I heard, not just from you, but I think I heard, like, on a social media post. Like, I think a lot of people are watching this movie right now. I think a lot of streaming movies are really popular right now. Like, you know, you have Tiger King, you have the movies like Platform and other. But it's always exciting when a foreign film gets, like, a lot of attention because
yes.
I think they do some of the most provocative movies that really make you think, and they're not even like very conventional, but they still get really popular, and I think that's just a great thing. So revisiting, I watched it today again for the podcast, and I just still have more questions. I think I'm less sure of all the symbolism than I was the first time I watched it. So I'm curious to know what you guys think, because I'm pretty ignorant. I haven't read anything about this movie or gone into, you know, any of the hidden meanings or anything, but I'd love to hear what you guys' take on those are later. First off, I just wanted to mention this movie came out 2019, this last year. It's considered a horror sci-fi thriller. The director is, I'm going to butcher this name, Gaztelu-Urrutia. Ooh, I rolled the R pretty well right there. That sounded pretty good.
That sounded pretty nice.
Yeah, I'll just call him
okay,
Urrutia. So Urrutia's vision of this movie. Yeah, he's a messed up guy. I don't know what else he's done, but keeps making movies like this. He's sure to be a winner.
I looked up his other work. I hope to watch his films at some point.
Oh, good. Well, sweet. We'll have to. Yeah, have to learn about some of his other films. Hopefully, he does other good films. We can talk about this podcast later. Let's have a quick plot recap. Jordan, do you have that prepared?
Yes. Oh, I had it here. Sorry, give me a second. Okay. A slab of food descends floor by floor in a prison. The inmates above eat heartedly, leave those below starving and desperate. A rebellion is imminent. That is the description.
That's good. It's
I
good.
like it, dude.
Doesn't spoil anything, but spoiler alert, we're gonna spoil it. So yeah,
we're gonna spoil the crap
watch
out of
this movie before you any of our podcasts.
Absolutely.
Watch the movies. We're more of the after the scenes delve into. We get into the spoilers for sure and talk about the ending and the meanings of movies. So just make sure you watch the movie before you consider listening to the podcast. Okay, you can get this movie right now. It's on Netflix as of April 24th. 2020. Now let's get into some questions. Okay, real quick. I have a few questions. One, if you were in this experiment, what was the one personal item you would bring with you? Let's start with you, Jordan.
Oh, fudge.
Ooh,
dude.
that's a good question.
Jordan?
That's a good question. Oh, shoot. Have you thought of yours, Ty? Do you want to go first? I haven't even thought of that.
No, that's the point. I want this to be a thing because in the movie, I don't think they're really clear if how much they know about this thing. So now that you know a lot about this thing, you just got to think. I would take a crowbar. I feel like it's a good enough solid weapon that you could fend off some people, but you could also pry open objects. It's probably the number one tool I would take into a zombie apocalypse. So I don't know how it would fare in a sci-fi horror thriller movie, but crowbar. Never leave the home without it.
Yeah, I think that one guy with the samurai sword had the right idea.
Samurai Plus? The Samurai Plus knife?
Not the samurai plus.
Oh, no, you mean the katana sword, the long samurai sword? Yeah.
Yeah.
Not bad. How about you, Cameron? What's the one item you bring?
Yeah, dude, fudge. If it wasn't a samurai sword, because that's what Jordan said, I'm trying to think what I would bring.
We can both have samurai swords, Cameron.
No.
Hey, don't worry, Cameron. We're going to go through what some of the people brought in the movie, what they brought in with them. So don't feel embarrassed if you give a silly answer because there's some pretty ridiculous things on this list.
Well, obviously, I want somebody to be able to defend myself. Because, I mean, I could just...
Well, that was actually the other question I'll pose to you real quick. Do they know that they're going to be harmed in this? They just know it's an experiment. So, it's bring one personal item.
Yeah.
I don't think a lot of people... who in their right mind's I'll take a sword with me to this experiment? They were lucky.
Okay, if I was going in knowing that violence is a possibility, definitely bring a samurai sword.
Yeah.
But I think if not... dog is a good idea, but the food is just it's sucker punch to the gut if you choose the dog, because it's just that lady switching off and I'm like, yeah, I love dogs not that much.
Well, no, but you could eat the dog, Cameron, if you got starving, so...
That is true. I'm bringing a large size food, but I'm trying to think, dude. Fudge. Definitely not a book. Man, it's crazy.
Cameron's I'll take the Bible.
I love that quote in the movie when he says, "This is not a place for people that bring in books." I was like, oh, yes.
Jordan's very anti-reading for all those listeners out there.
No, that is not what I was getting at, but yes.
I thought that's the message you were saying. I'm sorry. I misinterpreted.
No.
what you're saying.
I just love that quote because it's yes, he's in a terrible, terrible place.
Yes,
So
readers must die.
it's the fact that he's in this horrible place and that it's you're in the wrong place, and you don't belong here. I don't know.
He's not in the wrong place. He volunteered to be there. We'll get into that in a second. So,
Yeah.
okay, but Cameron, any answer?
If I knew the violence, I'm going with baseball bat with nails.
Baseball bat with nails. Oh god.
Like zombie apocalypse.
Cameron, just.
Wait, did Ty tell us what you're doing? What are you doing?
Yeah, Ty. What are you doing?
I was thinking of the crowbar just because it's a useful tool, but it's also a good weapon.
Oh, that's right. You said that. That's right.
Yeah, that's me knowing the violence. If I didn't, I'd probably be like, well, can I take my wife with me? And then,
Yeah, that's
then we'd be eating each other. So, yeah, don't bring your spouse, don't bring your dog. This is not a good place you want to be. So, like Jordan explains, this whole movie centers around people on the 0th floor. They lower food down, and the people that are on each level, they get a better and nicer meal because you're eating people's leftovers. And so as you get down past levels, basically anywhere between 70 to 100, there's no more food. Everyone's pretty much bare bones and bare picking, and so everyone below it just starts to starve. But I don't believe the people in the experiment actually knew what the experiment would be, so these are some of the items that people brought that we see. So our protagonist, he actually brings a book with him. It's a copy of Don Quixote, which is a book about a man who lives in a knight's time. Well, he fantasizes that he's living in this time of knights, noble knighthood, and he rides a horse and to a windmill thinking it's a giant, and tragically meets his death, smashing into the side of a lighthouse, or the windmill, excuse me. So that was the book he did, and he actually wanted to join this experiment because he wanted to get a diploma, and he wanted to quit smoking and read a book. Reading the book helps him pass the time as he quits smoking. But like you said, Jordan, he tragically learns that a book was not the best item to bring because his bunkmate brings a Samurai Plus, which is a self-sharpening knife, butcher knife that his cellmate brings with him as his personal item. And it turns out to be a very effective tool and weapon to later cutting his cellmate's leg apart and eating some of his flesh. So, whoa.
Real quick, I just remembered what I would do if I didn't know what was happening. I'd try bringing like a lacrosse ball to just like pass the time, dude. I think that would just keep you not insane.
Oh yeah, a tennis ball, yeah.
Or at least
like The Great Escape or something. Yeah, you're just sitting in your cell tossing a ball. Dude, that's a good way to get yourself killed though. If you just annoyed people with throwing a tennis ball up against the wall, your cellmate would probably throw you down the big square hole.
Yeah, dude, I'm about to be on the platter, bro.
What wasn't that in The Shining though when he's throwing the ball against the wall and he goes insane, Cameron? Is that
Yeah, Jack Nicholson throwing the tennis ball. Yeah.
If that tells you anything about my personality, apparently.
Yeah. So the book was one of the items, then the Samurai Plus, the self-sharpening blade. Next was a surfboard. There's a guy with a giant-sized surfboard, and he hides behind it. It's just, I don't know who thought to bring that.
Yeah.
I didn't know.
Did you get a list of every single item they brought in there? I want to hear the list.
Oh, yeah. So I did. I made a quick list. I don't know if this is all-inclusive. I'm sure fans and you guys on repeat watchings could probably catch more items. These were all the ones that I caught. After the surfboard, there was someone with a violin who tries to fight them as they come down the platform. There was a golden mannequin. I don't know who's brought the whole golden mannequin. Someone on like floor 100.
Weirdo.
Not the brightest of the bunch. There's a samurai sword. So not the Samurai Plus, but like a katana, samurai sword. Someone had a kiddie pool. That was really sad. I think it was floor 100. There's like these
yes,
two
the
guys
kiddie
just sitting
pool.
in the pool, and then they like tosses them an item, and they strangle each other in the kiddie pool.
Butt naked.
It's like, so messed up. And then lastly, I'm assuming it was something that the guy brought. He had like a big fat stack of money. There was a guy with bundles of cash, which I guess could be useful in bartering, trading with people with the promise that with all this money. But again, it's like, I don't think any of them knew what the experiment was going to be. So it's very interesting to see that these items were used.
But I don't know, Ty. There's one thing that you left out that makes me thinking that they actually did know, possibly, because the dude brought the rope, which I thought the black dude brought the rope, and I thought that's really weird to just be like, I'm just gonna go and stay in a cell. I'm gonna bring rope.
Well, what was his plan, by the way? I have a question, because even the fourth time watching it, I'm still like, when he gets to the top floor, number 1, he still can't get to the floor 0.
No, Jordan, he can jump. I'm like, you still need someone to pull you up. You know that, right?
Yeah. I was wondering what his plan was, because I'm like, I don't know how on earth it was an interesting plan.
Dude, maybe his plan was just to get to level 1 and kill everyone up there, We don't know.
But that's the part, Ty, that kind of makes me think that they did know like slightly what's happening, because who in their right mind would just randomly bring a rope? But like at the same time, there's no way that they told him enough detail to be like, oh, so there's going to be like, you can like crawl up or whatever.
There's going to be a platform and some of you may starve to death. Oh, I don't actually want that diploma anymore. Thank you.
Yeah. I'm going to go. So
I'm going to go.
Like,
I'll just read in a quiet nook somewhere. I don't need to actually join a death experiment to read a book. Jeez.
Yeah.
And then one lady brought a dog, and then she also said somebody else brought a Stairmaster in there, which is pretty funny.
Oh, yeah. See, because, those were the last 2 items.
That's
the
hilarious.
rope, and then, like you said, the dog, which I thought was interesting. You can bring a living thing. So, again, I wonder if you could bring another person. I don't know what the rules are exactly. They don't...
Yeah, but wouldn't that give you like an unfair advantage?
The kind of fun thing about this movie is it's vague enough where they don't go through everything. Like, you're kind of left to assume there's something going on in the world outside to make people want to participate in a terrifying social experiment like this. But I'm also curious, like, I almost feel like you could do a 10-episode Netflix series of just the chefs on the floor zero, the way they were cooking with that Nazi drill sergeant instructor, where he's just like yelling at them because like one of the desserts was not looking like 100%.
Because it had a hair in it.
We found a hair. That's what it was. Yeah, he's just like.
Yeah, and he's like, it's not mine. And he's like, it's yours.
Yeah. And he's like pointing at people, yelling at people.
That's a good question, Ty. Could this be a TV series? Yes, it could. And could they make a sequel? Yes, they could. And they should. And they please let them make a sequel.
It'd be called The Platform, but it would be made into a cube. And this whole series would be about people trapped in a cube that would die.
Yes.
I just described your dumb cube movie, Jordan.
It's amazing. We're going to have to do that. Okay.
I'm not going to do the cube. I'll be missing that day you do the podcast.
Yeah, I want to mention something really quick. I have to talk about the fact that, so every time I watched it, I realized, like, as I was watching with people, the execution of slowly revealing information was so key in the film. You know, it was like, oh, we're only telling everybody this much information as the film was going along. Any question you had, literally, like, I had another person next to me asking, oh, what is this? And then 2 seconds later, they answered that question. And it was just, it's really clever and well executed. I think the whole thing was just set up so perfectly.
Like what they did, like what you're saying, Jordan, they did well about that as well, is like, all of the information always came from other cellmates, so you didn't know how credible it was. So like people would say comments like, "How many floors are there?" And he's like, "Well, I've been on 120, or I've been on 123, and there's stuff under me." And so you're like, "So there's like what 125?" And then you're like, and then there's other people saying other facts, and you're like, "Wait,
Yes.
what?"
Yeah, a lot of mystery for sure.
I think it's cool too because like it's kind of adds to the mystery, the fact that like if you're below 125, there's a pretty good chance you're dying. So that's what you're not going to be able to ever tell anyone what floor you've actually been to. So that's what makes it even like that much eerier, like of not knowing, because like you usually don't survive unless you're like, killing and eating that
Right.
person.
So I do have a few questions though. So like the assumption, like again, this movie's pretty vague and maybe it's not perfect, but because I don't want to point out plot holes or anything like that, and maybe it's not a plot hole, but it's like if you're on floor 333. You're getting on that platform and going down into the bottom and then riding it back to the top, because what happens when you get to the top? Do they kick you down? Like, I don't know what happens.
That's where my mind runs crazy. Is that there's so many like ideas and theories, and everybody I watch it with has a different idea. Do they just stop it back on your floor so you can get off? Like, has anybody? I don't understand why anybody at the bottom doesn't try to go further, because they're already screwed. They know they're gonna die. Like, I don't get some of the stuff that they do. You know?
Yeah.
But there's even a few holes, but it's a perfect film. It's a perfect film.
Wait, no, it's El Hoyo, and there's only one hole, Jordan, and it's square, and you can fall to your death.
Can we talk about that old man? I love him. Ovio.
It's Ovio. Oh yeah, so that was my next question real quick. Do you guys prefer watching it dubbed, or do you guys prefer watching it with subtitles in its original language?
I haven't watched the dubbed, but I definitely loved the subtitles. Like
Yeah.
I feel like it really made part of the characters or whatever, and I'm not a big fan of dubbed.
Yeah, I would say the old man in this movie, he the Samurai Plus guy, he sells it. He's phenomenal. He's the scariest old man with that grungy voice. He's so scary. Yeah, he really sold the movie for me. There's that great scene where, so first act, you kind of have your first act, and then the second act, they wake up from, so they went from like floor 40, and they wake up like at 120 something or something, 147, and then he just wakes up, he's tied up, and he's just like, "Don't worry, mi caracol." He keeps calling him caracol, which is snail, and he's like, "Why are you calling me snail?" And he's like, "I just find it less hard to eat you if I look at you as something like a snail," or something. I thought that was so great. I love that. Oh my gosh. So yeah, actually, one last thing about the subtitle thing. I always think that dubbed voices sound really, really funny, but I found out that voice actors that are dubbing movies in other languages, so they're speaking Spanish in this film, and their mouths are moving to Spanish words. So English speakers will look at their mouths and try to time what they're saying to match the mouth. So to their credit, sometimes I always think that voice actors are really, really bad and they're really cheesy, but to their credit, on top of translating the movie so you can watch it without subtitles, they're trying to match the mouth movements of a different language in their own language. I just learned that, and I'm like, that's pretty cool. And some are successful at doing it, and some aren't, because some of them are just deplorable. It's so bad. Like, you watch it.
Well, it works sometimes in animation. Like, I like Spirited Away or the Death Note. That was good.
Yeah, for sure. It's almost easier with those animated films, too, because they just open their mouths like little pea-sized.
Exactly, because your mouth moves in so many different ways when you see each word, and like your tongue and the way animation, sometimes they just, all it is open, close, so it's like, it's a lot easier to match that.
Yeah.
Didn't know we were in an anatomy class over here.
Well, no, I
Teach us, professor.
You think about these things.
Yeah.
Oh, you just got schooled. Okay.
Wait, we didn't get Jordan's opinion on dubbed or.
Oh yeah. Do you prefer Jordan dubbed or watching in its film with subtitles?
Oh, I always watch in subtitles if I can. Dubbed is trash. I'm sorry.
Hey, those are hardworking people.
Yeah, no shots to those people. I have great admiration and respect for them, and I hope they keep getting jobs. But I won't be watching it.
No, man, we need to stop being so friendly on this podcast. We need to stop being so friendly. It's like, I hate people that dub languages. I hate them.
No, but I won't be watching it. I'm just saying, personally, I don't watch dubbed.
They should lose their jobs.
No! Oh my gosh.
All I can say, guys, I have a question for you. The panna cotta is el mensaje.
Es el mensaje.
Dude, what is a panna cotta? I've never eaten one. Is it good? Have you guys ever tried a panna cotta?
No. I kind of wanted to,
It kind of looked like a cheesecake, and I was like,
I know. That's
pretty good.
He made it look pretty good. The guy was freaking out about the hair, looking around like who put the hair in the panna cotta.
El panna cotta es el mensaje. I get the idea. So they're descending, him and his friends, Bahamut or Baharut? I can't remember his name. I feel like such an idiot. I don't remember anyone's name. Guy with the rope. So they're descending. They decide they're going to descend all the way to the bottom.
his name is Baharat.
Baharut? Baharat.
Baharat.
Yeah.
I don't know how to say it.
So,
in, his
so
language.
he throws the rope up. Yeah, like you said, what was his idea? He was going to climb to the top. So he starts climbing, and then he's greeted to a turd in the face, falls back down, nearly dies. So they decide to descend all the way to the bottom, and they're going to ration the food for everybody. The good-hearted communists that they are, they're going to ration the food all the way down to the bottom. And then now their plan is not to disperse any food to the first 50 levels, because those people get to eat pretty much every day. So once they get to around 50, then they start dispersing food and rationing it. But they get all the way down to 333 levels, because they thought originally the ending was at 250, but now they're at 333. They're at the very bottom. There's no food left except the panna cotta. And then they find mystery child, little girl.
But there's theories, though, about who this mystery child is,
Mystery child.
That's one thing I had a question, and that was kind of a plot hole for me. I just didn't understand. Panna cotta es el mensaje. And they're like, it's the message, and I'm like I understand what they're trying to do. Like, look, it went through 333 and nobody touched it, but like it gets to the top, and they're like, whoa, nobody touched it. What did we accomplish?
Well, no. That's the point of the whole system, Cameron. Is they're trying to figure out how to get the people to work together because what I understand is they keep talking about la administración, which is the administration, talking about society itself, and they're trying to figure out how we can get the people to work together so all these poor people don't starve to death. And from what I understand, and they're just talking about, and they're running this experiment or whatever to figure out how they can get people to work together. Clearly, it's a horrible experiment.
Yeah, it turns out all you need is two big burly men with poles that can beat you to death. If you take food, then it's not your turn to eat, right? Then you can change the world, right? I mean,
how about those head hits?
That's how you solve poverty.
You just get two people that bash you on the head.
In world hunger.
Well, that was the point. See, because he gets down, and I guess he talks to the older gentleman who I guess is rumored to be his father. I'm not sure. Baharut's father.
No,
it was like it's
I don't think so. He just said a wise man.
And he just goes, he's like, what are you doing? And he's like, we're making sure everyone gets food at every level. And then you literally see him standing in the food. And he's like, you guys are standing it. You guys are making a mess. And he like lifts his foot and there's like food dripping from his feet. Oh, it's so sad. You're like, they're being so wasteful. They're not being very good at it. And then he goes, we're making sure the food gets to every level. And he said, this is good. But to win them over, you should try to win them over before you hit them, right? And then he goes, what if they don't listen? And then he goes, well, then hit them on the heart. Hit them hard in the head. But dialogue must come first. Yeah. So, I mean, Again, I have no idea what this movie's trying to push. Like, the idea that it's good to rule with a tight-fisted hand at times because people are porfiado or difficult.
Oh, don't you love it when the lady's trying to convince them every single day? Oh, you need to eat only a little bit so the people down lower can eat food, and then they're
Go, Jordan.
yeah. Her cellmates, like, I guess I don't know if they're actually called cellmates because it's not like an actual prison. It's like worse than a prison. They're more like lab rats.
Yeah, but they're floor mate. Yeah, they're cellmate. You just call them cellmate.
They're floor mate. Yeah. So the main character, he tells her, no, he yells down at the people, like, if you don't stop eating and not rationing the food, I will crap on your food every single day. I just love that. And then she's like, I didn't think that would work, and I thought talking to them reasonably would work. Now let's start talking to the people up above. And he's like, that's not going to happen. I can't crap upwards.
That was one of my favorite quotes.
Quote, yeah.
He's like, won't be able to get to them. She's like, why not? We just got to the people below because I can't crap upwards.
Yeah, there was really good lines. Like, everything delivered. I mean, even the build up when you think, oh, there's only this many floors. She told him there's only 200 floors, and then he wakes up on 202. You're like, oh my gosh, that means, and then he looks down and there's even more below him. You're like, oh my gosh, this thing is even worse than we thought, I love stuff like that. It's just those, like I said, the reveals, just each individual one.
Just to kind of explain that real quick of just how they stay in like a room just for the people to understand. Like, they stay in a room for
1 month.
Yeah, they stay for 1 month, and then they wake up in a room that they have no idea.
Right, and so they're going to wake up on a random floor, and depending how high up you are to one, you get the first pickings, and then, like I said, the food just deteriorates over the levels. But again, it's just very interesting. So, like, everyone's really mean. Like, his friend, the Samurai Plus guy, that's what we'll call him, Samurai Plus, he's like really mean, right? He spits on the food, he urinates, like he's very foul. Because he's like, why would you do that? And he's like, because the people above us, they do the same thing to us, right? And it's just like this weird mentality where it's like you treat the people below you crappy because the people above you are just going to treat you crappy, and that's the expectation. No one's living a higher law. Everyone's living survival of the fittest. I just think that's really interesting.
And I love it because it's not like you did anything to gain that spot, and it's even worse because he's like, because there's a chance like that those people will be above us.
Yeah,
soon.
those same people.
Like, isn't that the exact reason why you should be nice to them? But like, it just shows how like sick sometimes like human beings can be. Just like, just looking out for like number one of just looking out for yourself first.
You could say revenge is a dish served with urine. Okay, I was trying to make a joke, but. Like, right, revenge, dish, the platform, a bunch of dishes of food. Okay, whatever. I'm not going to explain my jokes on this podcast.
Can we talk about the theories too at the end, like what it might have meant or whatever?
Yeah, what is the panna cotta? What is this? It's a perfect dessert? I don't get it.
Well, no, not that. I'm talking about the little girl. I mean,
that's just my point. So panna cotta, literally, they bring it down to the last level, and then they get off the platform, and then it goes into darkness. They give the panna cotta to the girl, and then she eats it.
No. Well, you got to say, yeah, exactly. But the girl is the message so that lady that goes down.
Because she ate the message. You are what you eat. There's my second joke.
Ty, you didn't hear she is ella es el mensaje.
No, I heard it, but it was only after she ate the previous message. So the message is fluid.
Okay, that was another thing I didn't understand. She did not look like she was starving.
No, well,
like,
that's because the mom goes down. The
it?
Mom had been going down every month. So I've got some theories here, okay? So she got pregnant inside there. Somebody must have raped her. She had a kid. She put her on the bottom floor because they don't use all the floors.
Or just pregnant before she entered the study. Just saying.
Yeah, good point. So they bring her down.
Ooh, or lastly, it could have been her child. That could have been her personal item. Someone brought a dog. That was my theory, but I don't.
Yeah, I like that. And I think every month she comes because I'm guessing not all 333 floors are being used. So the bottom floor doesn't have that heat thing. So if you keep food on your floor, the heat goes off. So I think that's why the heat doesn't go off on the bottom floor. She keeps her daughter, and then every month she goes down bringing her daughter food. And I think she probably, if she couldn't find food, maybe she killed people and brought them down and fed her daughter people. I don't know, but that's just
See, folks,
a theory.
Mother of the Year award goes to
She was a psycho, wasn't she? I thought she was
She was
insane.
insane, dude.
I mean, she was kind of nuts, but
There was a lot of like, I don't know if they're like jump scares, but there was a lot of like times where they would like pass in and out of visions because like he'd wake up and he thought she was his bunkmate or his cellmate, and then she like ran over to him, then he'd wake up again. There was a lot of that, like where, so to me, sometimes it is hard to keep the narrative because there was a lot of like, a little bit playing with what's subjective reality and stuff like that, because there was a lot of visions, there was a lot of talk of prophecy and stuff like that. That is interesting though. I never thought of that theory. I like that theory, Jordan, that she would, so again, the idea at the end is that she eats the panna cotta. And then,
well, no, because so the whole, remember the girl that's like in charge of, I mean, not in charge, she worked there, said that, what did she say? She's like, I've been working here and we would never let kids in here. And so that's why she had to have had the
True.
kid there.
That's
and
right.
then the whole point of sending the kid up is to say, hey, a little girl survived in this horrible, horrible environment. So this system does work. Like, you know, we made it work. I think that's what the message is that
you just need to kill 333 levels of people to get one loaf of bread to a little girl and send her up. You know, no, it is very interesting. It is very interesting. Like, he's kept her alive. Like,
I'm also curious as to what your guys' thoughts are on the fact that the guy, when he's trying to go upwards and throw his rope up, because he's like, I'm going to go up. I loved when the guy's like, he's like, why should I let you up? And he's like, because he's like, God sent me. I'm a man sent from God. Like, this is a message.
what God do you believe in? And then,
He's the one true God. I love that. And he's like talking to him, and he's
and then
like,
the guy looks back. Hey, honey, he says he believes in the same God we believe in.
and then I love what he says too. He's like, you will be blessed if you help me get up there. And I just think how, you know, people use religion and stuff to get to the top. I don't know. Maybe there's like, I don't know if it's allegories or things that are relating to real life, but you can really relate it to, I think, in a way, you know, different things in life. It's fascinating to me.
For sure. And then ultimately, like the religious symbolism, I did see. I mean, it stops at level 333. So 3 threes or Trinity, right? Religious symbolism, the Holy Trinity.
Oh,
So
interesting.
you have the Savior,
Yeah.
you know, God, Jesus Christ, and the Holy Ghost. But again, I mean, there wasn't too much symbolism except, I guess, the child at the end rising because she's the message. There's a lot of prophecies in it, so.
Well, I mean more of a one-to-one relation to like poor people, and, you know, obviously because it just reminds me of Parasite, which I think we should do on this podcast. But all these films so good about like poor people and just kind of, you know, what they have to deal with. It's sad.
So I had one last question before we get into our games. I just wanted to ask, like, so he gets off at the bottom and he talks to the old Samurai Plus guy, and he's just like, gets off the platform in the abyss. What is all that? Like, did he descend into hell?
Oh, I thought it.
Did he have to trade his soul?
No. Oh, interesting. Yeah, I like that. No, I thought it was him. Essentially, he said, "You're done," and I thought they would, like, he was walking off, and I thought he was kind of going to his exit because he was on his last month, wasn't he?
Do you think that's how they exit? Is out the basement down there?
I don't know. I just thought he was done, and so, you know, like he was going to get his diploma and get out of there. That's what I thought.
That's a very positive reading. I thought like there was no hope for him, but I could probably be wrong. Well, because I also got confused
maybe.
because, mind you, they were down there at the basement. He, Baharat, the protagonist, Baharat or whatever, and the little girl. They roll off the next morning and then the thing descends. The kid eats the panna cotta. He wakes up the next day. The platform's there, and Baharut's bled out to death. And then he gets on the platform with the child, the girl, and then they descend together. So it must have done another day.
Yeah.
The platform comes back down. Then he's down there.
Yeah,
Interesting. But
that's what I thought.
But again, that would have been 2 days into that month, because as far as we know, it was just the 2 days. It was the second day that they were on floor 6 that they descended.
Well, I don't mean he gets to go out right away. I just meant like he'd wait out his month down there. Maybe, I don't know.
Oh, because they solved the mystery. If he sends the girl up, they're safe, and the experiment's over with.
Well, yeah, maybe, the experiment, they decide to cancel it, or they're going to make a part 2 because nothing happened. Oh, yeah.
Well, that's great. So, Anyway, does anyone have any last minute items that they want to bring up about this movie?
Maybe that it's amazing and everyone should see it. Well, I don't know about everyone. Probably nobody.
Definitely not everyone.
So let's get it. Jordan, would you recommend this movie?
I would, but only to people that are okay with cannibalism.
If you're a cannibalist, this movie is for you. I'm starting to sense a pattern with the movies that we recommend to people.
Yeah, this is pretty bad. That's what we got to do. We got to do like a more general, broad audience one. but those aren't the best ones. Yeah, we should just do Parasite. That's pretty decently broad and
Yes.
good.
Oh my gosh. Yes, that should be our next one. But
That could be fun. I'm down to do Parasite. We should do that. Well, there you go. That was a unanimous decision. There you go. Anyway, do you want to gush? Yeah, say like your favorite things from the thing. Do your best quotes and impressions. Mi caracol. Severai plus. He was so great, dude.
oh my gosh, that was so good.
No, I definitely love. I think my favorite definitely one of my favorite quotes is just him saying "obvio."
Yeah.
Of just saying obviously. He just responded to everything, and I loved it where he started saying like, and I thought it was kind of interesting. It's like it reminded me of like the Batman quote, like you die a hero or live long enough to see yourself become the villain. Like I loved how he was like, talk to me, explain stuff to me, and then he's like, talking makes me tired, and then at the end when he's like, hey, talk to me, like hit the hallucination, he's like, talking makes me tired. And so she kind of saw it, and like he was killing people and like not being very respectful, and you just like see him slowly become what the other dude was. I thought that was really interesting.
That's good. Anything to add, Jordan? Do you have any last things you want to add about it?
But I would just real quick, I would not recommend it to pretty much anyone unless they are totally fine with lots of violence. But I gave it like an 8 out of 10. It was a really enjoyable film though, very intense, very thrilling.
I would probably say that this movie benefits from being a large part ambiguous because it doesn't give you a lot of answers. So if you like these kind of sci-fi films that don't have all the answers, but you can kind of project and guess or infer what you believe it means, I think that's kind of fun. I think it's a fun thought process movie. It kind of gets you, just like we discussed here, I learned a lot of theories from you guys, and I liked it more now as a result of talking to you. So yeah, it's a good movie to talk about afterwards, so a lot of fun.
Try amazing movie. Oh my gosh, what are you talking about?
Yeah, I'd say like a 6 or 7 out of 10, I guess.
Oh, a 10 out of 10. Get out of here. Oh my gosh. I put it right up on top, right next to Cube Tube, Hypercube.
Grade A movies.
The top
Oh my
notch.
gosh. All right. Well, today we are going to be playing some of our first ever movie games. So welcome to the movie game segment. We play Build a Perfect Movie. So Price is Right rules apply. You need to build 2 movies, smash them together, and the Rotten Tomatoes score from critics. Closest one to 100% wins. So today's topic is sci-fi horror. So Cameron, let's start with you. Pick a first movie.
And I can't look up IMDb.
No,
of course,
or
right?
Rotten Tomatoes. So just think of a sci-fi movie, horror movie. And Jordan, you'd be thinking of one
Okay.
too.
No, but you got to tell them. You explained. So what you want to do is try to get
Yes,
to 100%.
try to get to 100.
Oh, okay.
I thought
All
I
right,
explained
well,
it, but maybe I didn't.
Yeah, it's like playing 21. Okay.
There you go.
yeah, you can bust if you go over.
I'm trying to remember like media scores. I can't think of any like horror.
I'll go Valerium.
Sorry. Valerium. I think it's Valerian. Is that what you're talking about?
That's what I said. Valerium.
It's Valerian. It
And what
ends
else?
with an N.
That's what I said. Valerium.
It sounds like you're saying...
You're still ending with an M, dude.
Yeah, it sounds like you're saying with an M still. Okay. Jordan, Valerian?
But wait, so Jordan, what else?
No,
Are-
Cameron, you
doesn't
need to
Jordan
do
have
one.
to-
And then I'll give you the scores, and then you can go off your second movie based off your score. So, Cameron?
Oh,
You got to go.
fudge, dude! I can't think of give me some options, bro.
Any sci-fi, yeah.
Sci-fi, Cameron. There's
sci-fi
millions
horror.
of movies.
Anything
Yeah,
sci-fi.
sci-fi horror. Either one.
Yeah.
I don't care.
Okay,
Oh, can I do the cube? I want to take mine back. Gosh dang.
You can do that for your second movie.
is Butterfly Effect considered sci-fi?
Yes.
Yeah.
Because I know that got shizzed on by Rotten Tomatoes.
Really?
Oh yeah,
Okay.
it's like I think it's like around it's a 47 or 27. I'm trying to remember.
The one with Ashton Kutcher. Is that what you're talking about?
It's pretty high.
Yeah.
You don't want to bust, Cameron.
All right.
You're gonna bust.
Jordan,
haven't
you're
seen
next. Jordan,
Yeah,
you're
it's
next.
30.
Oh, real quick. So, Jordan, you picked Valerian. Critics gave it 47%.
Ah, crap.
Valerian, 47%. Cameron, you chose Butterfly, The Butterfly Effect. You got 33% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Really that bad?
Okay, I got it.
Better than that.
I got my second one. I think A Quiet Place, the first one.
You're gonna bust. All right, and then
I don't think they liked it that much, dude. It's probably gone down since they've.
I'm gonna do Terminator, this newest one that came out. I don't know what it's called. Terminator something.
Terminator horrible.
It's Terminator trash is what it is.
Yeah, dude. They need to stop. Them and Transformers and Fast and Furious.
Okay, real quick. Wait, which?
Oh my gosh. Are you kidding me? 95?
Hey, no spoiling it. Wait, Jordan, which Terminator movie did
Cameron
you want, Jordan?
busted. The newest one.
I don't know what the newest
Dude,
one
that's
is.
a bull
Judgment
crap.
Day 2, Genesis, Dark Fate, right? Dark
Fate.
Okay, are you guys ready? Cameron, you chose. You had Butterfly Effect 33, and then you chose A Quiet Place, which was 95%. Cameron is a bust. He goes over. Jordan, you chose Valerian at 47, and Terminator Dark Fate was 70%. You both bust. You both are terrible at this game.
Oh, what the
Yeah, that's what I
crap,
thought,
dude! That
nerd.
movie was
Turned out
trash.
these movies are a lot better.
Boo.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, dude. I don't know about that whole 95 on Rotten Tomatoes on Quiet Place. I mean, I enjoyed it.
Oh,
but-
I knew it was high. Nice try.
Do you want to guys play one more round, or
No, I'm fine with just ending it like with a recommendation, like a great movie you've seen recently and what you're excited
sounds good? All right, let's hit recommendations and one thing that you're excited for. Cameron, hit us up. What's a great movie you've seen recently and something you're excited for?
for. Ooh, I just watched. Oh fudge! Why am I forgetting? Oh yeah, I watched Upgrade. It was really dope. I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed that. And then there was another one I just watched. I watched Midway. That was really enjoyable as well. I also watched Pikachu. I wouldn't recommend it unless you're 12 years old. But, I mean, if you want to waste... It's not horrible. It's a good movie to play in the background.
You know what? Our nephew Bruce saw it and he really liked it.
Exactly. How old is he? 8? Okay. What I'm excited for... I'm still super excited to see with the Invisible Man. Fudge, dude, it looks so good. And I also want to rewatch 12 Angry Men. That movie's a really good. It's a really old film, but it's really high quality. I like it.
You know what I want to rewatch? The Cube too.
Have fun watching that alone. No one's gonna watch that with you.
All this talk about the Cube and platform. Oh, you guys have got me in the mood. All right, I just wanted to really quickly say that I saw Richard Jewell, which is amazing. Clint Eastwood film. I put me in tears at the end. Just so sad what they put this poor guy through. He's a hero, and they treated him like a terrorist. So really, really, really good movie.
Oh, that's good. Anything you're looking forward to?
Yes, watching The Cube again.
Can I give my answer as The Cube again?
Jordan's a freaking hero.
Did I
You
not
probably
say
did.
that
Oh.
enough?
I just tone it out at this point.
Okay, well, I'm gonna just in case you didn't
Tell
know.
him.
Tell him what
I
he's
think
won, Ty.
You
we're
win
gonna do
a
the
Rubik's
cube here on the
Cube as
podcast.
your toy. You can't. Yeah.
Nice, Jordan. Congrats.
As head of this company, we are going to watch the Cube too at some point in time.
Oh boy. So movies that I've seen recent.
And that's where I separate from the group.
Yeah. So I recently just watched the whole series of Tiger King on Netflix. I don't recommend it, but
Oh, I watched that. Yeah.
there was a lot of hype around it. It could have been made into like 2-3 episodes, but just crummy people all doing crummy things. Hypocrisy is abundant. So if that's your alley, you like watching terrible people do terrible things to animals, that's your show. Death of Stalin. That was a really funny movie. It's on Netflix right now. Steve Buscemi and plenty of other great actors, but it's a phenomenal film. I loved it. It's very funny. It's very dark humor. It's very bleak, but it's very funny. And then I finished season 5 of Better Call Saul. A great show out right now. Those are the movies that I recently watched. And then one movie that I'm looking forward to, I'm going to watch, is Extraction. It's a new movie with Chris Hemsworth, also known as Thor. But he's doing a movie on Netflix. I don't know. It's just like transporting some kid through the slums. It just looks really fun. The action looks good.
I forgot another one that I actually recently watched that I really enjoyed. Coco. I watched that for the first time because it came out right before I went to Brazil, and then on my mission. But then the other one I watched was Ad Astra, which it was slow, which I was going in expecting that, which everyone's like, if it's slow, it's bad. I'm like, no, it's not. But it was a decently enjoyable film. I think I gave it a 7 out of 10.
I will attack you if
I just
you
didn't
think Ad Astra is not a good movie. So I will defend that movie to the death.
The only thing I just didn't understand the whole dad scene. I was like, okay, whatever. But that's a
spoiler alert. We're gonna spoil other movies you didn't know that we would be talking about on this podcast. By the way, at the end of Sixth Sense, Bruce Willis is a ghost. There, I said it. Guys, this has been...
Dude, I haven't even seen
This has been
bro.
great, guys. We're going to end this Movie Gem, Futro Hidden Gem Movie Podcast. Hidden Movie Gems Podcast. I'm going to get used to saying that. Thanks for signing on.
It's funny you're calling it a hidden gem when it's at the top of the list of IMDb. Well, just at the whatever's currently trending or whatever. But
Yeah. Well, it's a foreign film, so more people need to see it. So
exactly, I'm very glad it is, because it's like we need more good foreign films.
For sure.
I am so happy right now, so happy.
Guys, thanks for chatting. You guys take care and stay safe.
Sounds good.
Take care, everybody. Signing off.
All right,
Bye.
bye.
I love you guys.